Hey there, movie fans. It is time for Rank and File. I'm your host, Scott Movie Mantz. Every episode of Rank and File, I take all the films in a series and I rank them from worst to best. This episode, we're going to rank the Bourne movies. These visceral, awesome action movies, all 5 of them. So let's get right to it with number 5 on the list. That would be The Bourne Legacy, directed by Tony Gilroy, release date August 10th, 2012, cost $125 million to make. Domestically, it made $113 million. Worldwide, it made $276 million. Rotten Tomatoes score is 55%. Tony Gilroy directed the film. He also wrote it, and he also wrote the first 3 Bourne movies. But this is the first Bourne film without Jason Bourne, without Matt Damon. How do you do a Bourne movie without Jason Bourne? Oh, there's more than one. Oh, okay, there you go. That brings us to Aaron Cross, played by Jeremy Renner, who's very, very good in the film. Jeremy Renner, who had already done Avengers, and he was in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. So now he's in the Bourne series, and he's one of the other super agents. And the movie's good as a standalone film. The action scenes are very good, and Jeremy Renner brings an energy that's different than Matt Damon. But like Matt Damon, he's approachable. You wouldn't take him for a killing machine, but he actually is. And a really strong cast. You have Oscar Isaac, Edward Norton, Rachel Weisz, but compared to the other Bourne films, there's not as much action. It's overwritten, it's convoluted, it's very talky, it does feel a little slow at times, and at 2 hours and 15 minutes, it's also the longest film in the Bourne series. So it's at number 5, but moving up to number 4, Jason Bourne, directed by Paul Greengrass, release date July 29, 2016, cost $120 million to make. Domestically, $162 million. Worldwide, $415 million. Rotten Tomatoes score is 54%. Now, when they were doing press for the Bourne Ultimatum, which I'll get to very shortly, Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass joked around that if they ever did another Bourne film, they should call it the Bourne Redundancy. And why? Because the story was done, everything was finished, everything was wrapped up. What are they going to do except tell the same story again? Well, that's what happens in Jason Bourne. Only instead of Project Treadstone or Project Briarback, now it's called Project Iron Hand, and they have to expose it. As a standalone movie, the action scenes are very, very strong. It's a very solid and entertaining action movie, but it feels like more of the same, for better or worse, because it does tread the same ground. It's a good film on its own, but not as good as its predecessors. With Matt Damon, moving up to number 3 is The Bourne Supremacy. Directed by Paul Greengrass, release date July 23rd, 2004, cost $75 million, domestic gross $176 million, worldwide gross $291 million, Rotten Tomatoes score is 82%. Now, this is the first Jason Bourne film directed by Paul Greengrass, and what a great fit. He brought so much to this series and really elevated the series as a whole with his brisk, gritty, hyperkinetic editing and the documentary style feel that he gave to the film by shooting so much of it with handheld cameras. And talk about quick edits. The average scene lasts about 1.9 seconds. So it really is a fully immersive film, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. It is a top-notch action thriller, top-notch spy thriller in every sense of the word. But the action scenes in this movie are fantastic, and the standout here is the incredible car chase that takes place in Moscow. Amazing car chase, one of the very best, not just of the Bourne series, but of any action movie, period. Moving up to number 2 is The Bourne Identity, directed by Doug Liman, release date June 14, 2002. Cost is $60 million. Domestic gross is $122 million. Worldwide gross is $214. Rotten Tomatoes score is 83%. So Doug Liman, the director of films like Swingers and Go, really brought his A game to this movie with raising the bar with these kinds of films to the point where James Bond, with his next film, Casino Royale, had to measure up, and he did. And even the Mission Impossible movies had to measure up with what Doug Liman did with the Bourne Identity. The car chases, the stunts, the fights. Matt Damon is incredible as Jason Bourne. This is the first movie, and it's based on the novel of the same name by Robert Ludlum. But Matt Damon really owned the role. His commitment to the fights, the stunts, he just really immersed himself in the role, and he's so approachable. You would never know that Jason Bourne was a killing machine, which is what made Matt Damon so great at it, because he really was. Interesting to note that Brad Pitt came really close to playing Jason Bourne, but he decided he wanted to make the movie Spy Game with Robert Redford instead. Now, I love the Bourne Identity and the Bourne Supremacy about the same. Picking between 2 and 3 for these films was actually a little tough. But the reason I went with the Bourne Identity for number 2 is because of all the films in the Bourne series, this one has the most heart. And that is because of the love story between Jason Bourne and Marie, played by Franca Potente, who, by the way, was in an awesome movie called Run, Lola, Run. So if you've never seen Run, Lola, Run, check it out. It's an amazing film. But The Bourne Identity is a movie that really set the bar for spy thrillers in the 21st century. So that brings us to the number 1 movie in the Bourne series. And of course, it is The Bourne Ultimatum, directed by Paul Greengrass. Release date August 3rd, 2007. Cost $110 million to make. Domestic gross $227.5 million. Worldwide gross $444 million. Rotten Tomatoes score 92%. Winner of 3 Academy Awards for film editing, sound mixing, and sound editing. This is the highest grossing Jason Bourne film, and this is the last Bourne movie to be based on one of Robert Ludlum's novels. Everyone is at the top of their game. Paul Greengrass, Matt Damon. You can feel the whole trilogy coming together, and that makes this the most emotionally satisfying film in the series, because you can feel everything starting to wind down. You can feel Jason Bourne getting close to the answers that he was looking for. Amazing stunts, amazing fights, amazing car chases. The scene at Waterloo Station where Jason Bourne is telling the reporter where to go through the crowd is a great scene. It kind of reminded me of a similar scene in Minority Report. The rooftop chase in Tangiers was so visceral and exciting, and it ends where it started, with Jason Bourne in the water. He ended the Bourne Ultimatum in the water, which is how he started the Bourne Identity. A perfect bookend, and it just was such an exhilarating conclusion. So there you go. 5 movies in the Bourne series. What did you think? How would you rank the films in the Bourne series? Comment below and let me know how you would rank the Bourne films. Please like this video. Please share it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Movie Mantz. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. And please check out other episodes of Rank and File. I did a whole bunch of Rank and File so far. I'm really loving this series. It really is so much fun to do. I did Rank and Files on Star Trek, Star Wars, Spider-Man, Mission Impossible, Alien, Rocky, you name it, and there's a whole lot more coming. So if there's a film series that you would like for me to rank and file, please let me know on Twitter or comment below and let me know. And you can also check out my other film series called the Movie Mantz Double Feature, where I pick 2 films, I put them together, and I make my case for why they would make the perfect double feature. Till the next episode of Rank and File, here's looking at you, kid.